folks, if you are constantly stiff, exhausted, or stuck in a cycle of pain that no stretch or massage seems to fix, you are not crazy. You may be missing the most important connection in your entire body, your brain's control over posture. Today's guest is about to shift the way you think about pain, alignment, and performance from the ground up. Welcome to the Life Lounge podcast, your front row seat to everything happening inside Life Network. I'm your host, Karie Johnson, and each week we bring you top voices, transformational brands, and insider updates you won't want to miss. This is where self-transformation meets community, because when we grow together, we go farther. Let's dive in. So today's guest, Annette Verpillot, is a Canadian entrepreneur, therapist, and internationally recognized posture specialist. She's the founder of Posture Pro, a health company specializing in restoring the brain-body connection through advanced rehabilitation and injury prevention techniques. Her brain-based approach to postural alignment helps eliminate chronic pain, enhance strength, and improve sports performance. Annette has trained elite sports organizations like the San Francisco 49ers and New Jersey Devils, and her work has been featured at McGill, La Sorbonne, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrect, and Harvard. From kids with neurodevelopmental challenges to high-performing athletes, she's showing the world what healing begins with, how we move, and how the brain sees the body. Welcome to the Life Lounge podcast, Annette. Thank you for being here.
I love the intro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we are so blessed to have you, and Annette is one of our new core contributing experts here at Life Network. And I love just to introduce our members to these amazing people that contribute, anything from podcasts and blogs and videos and just helping our audience get more informed about their bodies and brain health and everything that we do here at Life Network. And Annette has an incredible background and expertise. So I'm so excited because we don't have anybody in this area of expertise. And she has an incredible company called Posture Pro, and we'll dive into that and all of the things that she offers. But I was kind of like to take us back to the origin story. What had sparked your fascination, Annette, with posture and their brain-body connection? How did that all start?
It originally started with failure, believe it or not, failure to be able to just deliver long-term results, long-lasting results. I have a background in rehabilitation, and I was taught the traditional way that if there is a problem, to look at the body from a local perspective. But what I found, or what I quickly realized when I started working with clients, was that the underlying imbalances that I was being consulted for always remained unresolved. They were better for a certain period of time. They felt a little bit of relief. But nevertheless, the problem always came back. And this realization, I guess, propelled me to dig into or look a little deeper, or try to develop a more global approach to rewiring the brain. And I find that this is what makes what we do really unique, is by using an approach that reorganizes or rewires the brain. We're able to do so. We're able to create immediate biomechanical changes that last a long time, simply by targeting specific body parts to change the way that one relates to gravity. So I originally started with just general pain and rehab, and then that quickly escalated to performance, emotional regulation, breathing, stress, blood pressure, shooting accuracy, prevention, which seems to only interest mostly athletes. But for me, I think that prevention is the most important thing, because if we can prevent and improve before the problem arises, that's where it becomes interesting.
Holy smokes. Wow. That is absolutely incredible. And I can definitely see how it is different from the traditional physical therapy type of approaches that people do, just, isolating and just fixing that, but like really starting with the brain, and then it's helping so many other things. And prevention is, like you said, that's everybody should be focused on that, not just the top tier athlete too. So
Absolutely.
And how long have you been doing all of this, Annette?
So I originally opened Posture Pro in 2006. So it's been a while.
Whew, yes, that's a long time. So I'm sure you have seen it all the things to do, not to do, and
Well, I've tried. At first, of course, I was afraid by the unknown, not knowing what kind of results that this would produce, and what I lived here in clinic, which was the most staggering for me, were results with a stage 2 Parkinson's disease, where all the symptoms within one session. I mean, I recently just found that video again and started posting it on my social media, because at the time, obviously, social media was not, it was not
a
what
thing. Yeah,
was not a thing.
true.
But the results were truly spectacular and life changing, and that's what really propelled my career, and my motivation to keep moving forward and exploring further, was from that point in time. So I quickly saw the power behind a nervous system approach in the context of rehab, which still today is not really spoken of or considered in the context of fitness. A lot of people may talk about the nervous system, but don't fully understand that there's different parts of the body that will that modulate the way that we stand and the way that we move, and even the way that we think and the way that we breathe, because the brain controls all, and the nervous system is responsible for controlling absolutely everything from thinking to swallowing to breathing and to just living. And we can actually tap into that very easily.
Oh my gosh. Can you tell me exactly what happened with that stage 2 Parkinson person? Because I haven't seen that video. I need to dig that one up.
Yeah, well, her name was Diane, and she basically came over for just symptoms of Parkinson's disease. I felt constant pain and being uncomfortable and not being able to walk, and just stand, or just feeling exhausted after 20 minutes of just standing up straight. And it basically proceeded by doing what I do. So what I do in my clinic is, the first thing I'm going to look at, if I'm looking at an adult, is how well are they fighting gravity. And to do this, you must look at their weight bearing surfaces at their feet,
From the feet, yeah.
which is from the bottom up. And then you have to look at the eyes, which is how are the eyes tracking. And with Diane specifically, there was also an issue with scars in her back. She had had a back surgery, many years prior to. So what I did is I just simply worked on those different sensory receptors to improve the input going into her brain. And I just said, "Hey, Diane, how do you feel?" And she left the office ecstatic. And then she called me the next day to say, "Annette, I need to come into the office to give you my video, a testimonial." And I'm like, "Oh, sure, this is the dream client." And she went on and on and on, laughing, crying, laughing. I have all this on video, like
Oh.
35 minutes. And then a month later, and then 2 months later, she comes back and brings her husband, who's now giving a video testimonial, saying how his wife is back, and how they never realized how much this would affect had affected their quality of life as a couple. So she ended up going to China that year and walking the Great Wall that she wanted to do, and doing all the traveling that she wanted to. And we stayed in contact for years, actually, after that. And yeah, so that's what started really Posture Pro.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, that is quite yeah, no wonder it's like, okay, now I have this like pure drive and passion to do what I want to do. And it's like, it's just fueled by that incredible testimonial. So I'm sure you have like many other testimonials too, from your everyday people to the athletes that you work with. Any others that stand out to you that people you'd like to
Well,
share?
what's amazing about this is it's on a weekly basis. I mean, I can have clustered headaches. Just somebody giving me a testimonial, and just saying they're here because they have oxygen machines in their room, and a hospital room within their room, to just simply try to manage the symptoms of clustered headaches. And it took one session. It took one session to identify, in her case, was a diverging eye, which is an eye that is unable to move. It's not really a lazy eye, it's a convergence insufficiency. We just worked with simple eye exercises in the office. We corrected her foot posture as well, because if the eyes are unbalanced, they will create compensations at the lower level, which will cause your body with time to kind of adapt to this new type of pathological posture. So we did have to correct the foot, but one session is what did it. So if we can save people time,
And money.
Well,
Yeah.
you're right. Time is money, but
I meant
it is the only currency
totally.
that you can't buy is time. Unfortunately, you can always make more money, but you can't buy more time. I quickly came to see the power behind this method. I mean, I love to work with kids. I have a lot of parents that approach me for learning disabilities, for just clumsiness, trauma, anxiety. With children, it's a lot of fun because you're able um, to really make a change in the course of their lives. You might not be able to see it right away, but if you had a time machine to go back 30 years into to go 30 years into the future, um, right. I love creating those changes because I mean it's just helping out the parents that come in here exhausted.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Taking care of a sick child is no fun.
And athletes. I mean, the athletes came about through Charles Poliquin, who just said, all this is nice and dandy, and the nervous system is kind of not a topic of interest in the field of fitness. But can you show me if my athletes can get stronger? And I said to Charles, "Well, is this all we care about?" And he said, "Yeah, we just care about getting stronger."
Where?
I said, "No problem." So it took 5 minutes, and he walked in here with a dynamometer test. I let him do the testing. I just said, "Okay, show me posture before, posture after. Let's do the pre and post." And his last recording were strength gains of 15% in 3 minutes. So at 5%, he was explaining that that was worth of 1 year's training, a full training session to just gain that strength, and now we were recording strength gains of 15%. So his jaw just dropped to the floor, and he said, "Well, you know, we need to take this forward and start teaching this a bit." Like I had finally convinced him after like 2 years. Like the first reading was 5%, and it was 7%. And I guess, I guess we're a little bit always resistant to change, right? And we're like, well, this can't be. And then after the third time, he said, well, this is now undeniable. Changes are real, and let's do it.
Goodness. Okay, so then, I mean, everybody should come see you because this is just like because everybody has some kind of thing happening and just to so how do people work with you? Like, and you're in Canada and, tell us, like, how we can be a part of your programs and your courses. I know you have so many things out there.
Yeah, so I mean, I remain available online or when I travel in person. My clinic's located. I'm located. The company's located in Montreal, Canada, but I do a lot of for the last year a lot of traveling, and for the last 6 years online consultation. So I'm completely accessible, and my people who consult me are people who've tried everything, and I love to basically teach to practitioners because for me the best way to help as many people as possible, the fastest way is to teach this to any practitioner that's working on the body. Personally, I feel that every trainer in the world should be aware of how they can use the nervous system to improve their client's outcome, whether it be weight loss or, just getting fitter. Because I guess that what people don't really realize is that when you're training with a body that is misaligned, you're training yourself into injury. You're creating micro lesions in the body that are secreting inflammation and that are going to make it harder for you to lose weight and keep your gains. And of course, genetics and lifestyle is going to influence that recipe. But at the end of the day, what we find is when someone is injured or has pain or is struggling, there's always an imbalance with the postural system. So the feet and eyes, maybe I should just specify what the postural system is for me for Posture Pro is that I base myself on the concept that there are sensory receptors, so parts of the body that tell your brain where you are in space. Your brain picks up this information and then projects a motor command for you to stand straight and move. Now, if you have conflicting information going into your brain, so I'll give you an example. If you have more weight on one foot than the other, if you're flat-footed on the left, but your right foot is normal, that's conflicting weight pressure on your feet. The brain is picking up on that. And what that's going to lead to is biomechanical compensations. Yes, your joints are going to wear out unevenly on one side of the body, but
Hmm.
it's also going to create muscular adaptation on one side of the body in comparison to the other. So you're going to be in other words, you're going to be unbalanced physically.
Hmm.
And that could lead to injury, and it leads to other systemic problems throughout the body. I mean, we know we know that upright posture affects blood pressure, right? And we know that it affects strength as well. So
Hmm.
depending on where you're at and what it is or what your goal is, for me, addressing posture is always the most important thing, the first thing to do prior to anything.
That makes sense. No matter what somebody's trying to work on. So tell me exactly how that would help with weight. So for somebody who is like working on losing weight.
Well, simply cortisol. Cortisol
Oh,
is a hormone that is anti-inflammatory, but when it becomes chronic, then it starts to create changes in the body that basically will prevent you from losing weight. Um, because cortisol is a hormone that is going to create, I mean, originally that can create inflammation when it becomes chronic. So uneven joint wear leads to inflammation. It's going to prompt the body to release that cortisol, which normally the cortisol is an anti-inflammatory. And then that's going to disrupt protein metabolism. It's going to promote muscle breakdowns. You're actually going to end up, instead of building muscle, you're going to lose muscles. This is like obviously the extreme scenario. Um,
right.
right. And then it's just going to further compromise your posture. So, yeah, so the fastest way to gain muscle is to simply provide your body with consistent anchors, symmetrical anchors to be able to move from being metabolically toxic through that constant cortisol, through microinflammation that's happening in your body
Right.
um, to just longevity and overall well-being and through proper postural alignment.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. I'm almost even thinking like like the fight or flight response too, and your body's like holding on because it's stressed out and it's, preparing for the tiger and so it's not able to like let go and release but yeah, that totally makes sense with the inflammation and it all is not going to work because your body wants to hold on to it. So that's incredible. Oh my gosh. So then, okay, what about? I know I read something with doing a little bit of research on you. So foot mechanics, jaw alignment. We kind of talked a little bit about how the base of the foot, but like, can you also talk about the jaw alignment as well? How that plays into posture and performance?
Yes, so the position of the lower jaw is attached to the mandible, is attached to your skull through muscles. And the shape of the mandible is something that you develop when you start to use your tongue and speak and swallow. So the tongue is the big player in this equation, which starts at birth, whether you're breastfed or not, or bottled fed, and depending on your tongue posture, it is then going to affect the position or the development of your mandible
Hmm.
and the expansion of your maxillary, because the mandible has to fit inside the maxillary. So very often children will have food allergies, or will, certainly nowadays are not eating as well as they did 30 years ago. And this can cause them to breathe more through their mouth, have an open mouth, affect the position of the tongue, and then affect the development of the mandible. So a class 2 occlusion is when the mandible actually sits up and back in comparison to just sitting in its central position, where
Right.
the lower teeth are completely fitting inside the upper teeth. Um, it's also called an overbite, where the upper teeth will cover the lower teeth by more than one third. So from a posture perspective, what that's going to create is that it's going to push your head forward.
Oh, yeah.
So
That,
if we were to look at someone from the side, their ear would be in front of their shoulders.
and it's supposed to be stacked. Yeah.
Stacked, no, but the curves of the spine have very specific numbers that are associated to them, so that the spine can absorb the shock of gravity as effortlessly as possible.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
when those curves start to change, well, they affect our energy, our ability to fight gravity, and we start to waste energy just standing upright. So it will affect posture mechanically. It will push your head forward, whether it's forward head posture, anterior pelvic. That's going to affect your blood pressure indirectly, but it's also going to deplete your muscles from glycogen. So all of those, which will result in just you feeling exhausted by the age of 25 at 2 p.m. every single day. You have to, take some energy drinks and you're pooped.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
one of the factors could be posture. I'm not saying it always is, and if it is, the problem with that is that it's never looked at. No one will say, well, let me look at your sagittal plane and see if you have, right? If you do have an anterior pelvic tilt, they're not going to work through the nervous system to fix it and address it.
Yeah. Holy smokes. I mean, that's mind blowing just how much every single one of those things affects everything. And it totally makes sense for somebody to be completely wiped out because of that, because of the gravity, just affecting it. And you're just like wiped out and you're like, I can't even stand tall anymore or stand up.
Right, right.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so I mean, it's just that, and again, I mean, I don't want it to sound, too dramatic, or dramatic, but sometimes it could be something as simple as just simply being able, because when you actually stimulate the skin of the foot, you have these involuntary reflexes because the feet and the head are connected through fascial chains. So if you're walking with an anterior pelvic for 5 years, your fascia will adapt. It will adapt inevitably. And if you're walking for 24 hours a day, or let's say, I don't know, 18 hours a day for the last 3 years with an anterior pelvic or forward displacement, of your center of gravity, if you go see a therapist and they work on you for 1 hour, it's not going to undo the adaptation that you've acquired for the last year or 10 years or 5 years. And this is the problem that I faced in practice.
Yikes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Be unable to uncoil that issue in 1 hour is very hard because the brain needs to receive constant stimulation in order for change to occur in the muscle tissue and the fascial tissue. The input needs to be permanent for a minimum of 10,000 hours
Wow. That makes sense in order to affect change.
in order for that change to become permanent.
Yeah. And not revert back to the old habits of how
And
it.
not revert back to the old habits. Mind you, though, working on the body, even though working through rehabilitation, will produce relief, but it will not change the cause of the problem. It will only, it's like taking a Tylenol for that, for a temporary period, you'll have a relief, but posture is not changed at the brain level.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. It's just a temporary Band-Aid, and it's just gonna go back to it as it used to be because that's what it's used to. So then, is there anything that somebody can do? We all kind of live our busy, stressful lives, and, I'm a mom of 3. Is there something that we could do every single day, just a low-hanging fruit, just to make sure that we're focused on breath or posture, alignment, little things like that?
Yeah, so as an adult, I would say the most detrimental thing for all adults is teeth clenching.
Yeah, I do that.
So clenching your teeth, you might not be aware of it. Your teeth should not be in contact more than 20 minutes a day. So the top three primary, well, there's four, but I'll say the top three primary sensory receptors: feet, eyes, and jaw. Vestibular system will respond to feet, eyes, and jaw. So if the receptors that are located above the neck are actually extremely important because they're connected, they communicate with brain parts that regulate your ability to calm yourself.
Mhm.
So if you are clenching your teeth, you are affecting those brain areas that help you secrete melatonin and serotonin and even dopamine to help propel you forward or just have you be goal oriented to pursue a goal. And it could stem from your jaw. So the number one thing that I would say for adults is be mindful of your tongue posture. and of your clenching habits. If we're talking about children and parents are listening, make sure that your children are developing their tongue posture as early as possible. So it starts with breastfeeding, and if you can't breastfeed, pacifiers are the worst thing that you can use, or thumb sucking needs to
True.
stop as of yesterday. Um, so try to make sure that their tongue posture is developing well, and movement with children, movement as much as possible. And of course with children as well as with adults, the shoes that you wear matter.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but they change your gait, and they prevent proprioception. They prevent your brain from feeling the ground.
Mm,
Now, obviously, I live in Canada where it's, minus 30 Celsius in the winter. I'm not going to suggest going outside barefoot, but I will suggest to pick shoes that are made to accommodate your feet.
okay. So what would you recommend then for that?
Well, any shoe that is wide enough to accommodate the toes and will allow the normal movement of the foot to unfold with the least amount of cushioning
Okay.
as much as possible.
Yeah. Are there ones that you recommend on your website?
So we actually use we use Vivo Barefoot, and we've created insoles to fit in Vivo Barefoot, and we do offer also a discount for anyone who does purchase our products with Vivo Barefoot shoes as well.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting if you're looking to buy a new pair of shoes and put some therapeutic insoles in there to fix your posture. That's a great combo for 2025 and 2026.
Okay, that's really good. So then with your insoles, don't wear them with high heels.
We actually have some thin ones that you could put in high heels. I
If
mean,
you still really want to.
we would like to have, maybe once a week wear your high heels, but wear high heels. But no, we try to make it accessible to any type of shoe, right? But ideally, if we're talking on a general health basis, I mean, we try to eat well,
Mhm.
take care of our health every day, work out every single day. I mean, this should be part of your daily routine, with the exception that you can cheat once in a while.
Okay, exactly. Like wear the pair of high heels and then just, wear them better with your insoles. I love that. That's good. You got to meet people where they're at sometimes, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So then, with the insoles too, it's for all types and kids as well.
Yes. So we have therapeutic insoles, which really are the ones that we've worked with since 2006.
Wonderful.
So therapeutic insoles for children, I would just recommend that they're purchased with one size maybe that's a little bit bigger, because children are growing. So to prevent that, you have to buy three pairs a year. Just anticipate that your child will grow. And it's really the best prevention for children, as well as we use a device that's called the functional activator. When my children were growing up, I would literally go in the room and when they were sleeping, and put it in their mouth while they were sleeping, and open the mouth and just stick it in and just close the jaw. And you see the child just latches onto it,
Interesting.
lips closed, starts breathing through the nose.
Okay.
So what the functional activator is going to do when you're sleeping with children or adults is that it's going to unconsciously start to retrain your tongue posture on your palate. And with children, since they're growing, you are literally going to start shaping their face.
That's so true. So, would you say that's better than just using mouth tape to make sure that you're breathing through the nose at nighttime?
I'll say that mouth tape is a patch. It's not going to change tongue posture, but it will mechanically keep your mouth shut,
Yeah.
which works for some people. But then for those who are looking to actually deal with the actual problem and resolve it permanently, then tongue posture must be addressed.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Well, that answers a lot of questions there too, because I use mouth tape, but I do know that I clench my jaw at night too. So I'll have to get that as well.
Yeah, yeah, but we all clench our teeth when we sleep. There's a physiological aspect to clenching. The problem really is throughout the day. So just being mindful of, you know, I use red dots. I have people put red dots around their work and the house. I'll say, hey, when you see the dot, I'm talking to you and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, there's a dot there. I think to myself, are my teeth in contact right now? And if they are, it's okay. I'll just put my tongue on my palate, close my lips, and breathe.
Okay, that's helpful. I love that. Read that. Sometimes you just need that little reminder. So that's super simple and easy to do too.
Simple external reminder, yes.
No. Yeah. Okay, that is super helpful. Okay, then would you also say that poor posture would be a trigger for hormone disruption as well?
Absolutely. Through the jaw, I mean, as well, because I mean, if you're clenching your teeth and if you're in pain or if you have poor posture, you will clench your teeth as a defense mechanism. And because the trigeminal nerve communicates with the pituitary gland and is linked to it because of its connections through its roots through the entire brainstem, all the way down to C4, by the way,
Wow.
you don't want to aggravate that cranial nerve. If it functions well, all is good. But if it starts to discharge negatively into your brainstem, then it could affect the different areas of the brain that help you regulate your stress.
Mm.
So you might have symptoms of having a hard time falling asleep, or when you wake up being unable to just stay in bed. Those people that would just have to jump out of bed and they just can't relax. For women having tender breasts or tender chest, children, you'll hear the children just grinding. Mind you, that could also be parasites because children should not be grinding, but they could be grinding through malocclusion as well, and waking up with pain. So the main disruption really comes through cortisol.
Gosh. Wow.
Um, yeah, it really comes through cortisol, which is going to basically disrupt absolutely everything in your body and from your hormone because it's just constant and it's permanent and it's just detrimental to health when you have constant cortisol that's being secreted in a chronic way.
Oh gosh. Is there like a daily grounding practice that you recommend people to do, or breath work or anything like that?
So breath work is always going to work because obviously we have to learn to just it's helpful to regulate your breath, but again, if you're clenching your teeth because of a malocclusion or a diverging eye or because of an imbalance, always going back to posture first and then incorporating those methods like breathing or just practicing um, different breathing methods uh, are just going to propel the results that you're getting through breathing. I mean, the best way to tap into your vagus system is through breathing, but there is muscles also connected from on your tongue that are controlled by the vagus nerve. So just having proper tongue posture activates your vagus nerve positively.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just another way to be able to tap into the parasympathetic system to be able to kind of regulate our stress. Clenching also can lead to panic attacks. Uh, because again, the trigeminal nerve, because of its connections, is just going to affect the regulation of neurotransmitters in the brain, because it connects to all these different areas in the brainstem, including the amygdala or the Raphi's nuclei, which produces serotonin. So, the direct connections of the trigeminal nerve to these different brain parts and the connection of just the occlusion, 32 different teeth you have 32 different ways just through your teeth that the trigeminal nerve could become unbalanced. I mean, you want to make sure, like, if you have missing teeth, if
Mm-hmm.
you have an overbite, you have less contact in the back, but you have more contact in the front. That pressure is creating an imbalance biomechanically, but is also, creating other issues in the back, systemic issues that you might not be aware of.
So you're usually not aware of those things. Wow. Okay. Whew, so much to learn. And okay, I know we have so many other things that we can get to, but I do want to be mindful of your time. And we have a few member questions. So I want to hit on a couple of those if that's okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Annette. You're so incredible. Okay. So Julie said, thank you for bringing this topic. And I've constantly reminded myself about posture throughout my life and fully appreciate its greater importance. It seems natural for some people, but I have to work at it and definitely struggle with sleep, anxiety, jaw, and neck tension. Do you have any advice to help make it more natural part of your existence and less of a constant correction? kind of touched on it, but
Yeah, so it goes back to absolutely, and it sounds like Julie's gone through a hard time, and has tried many things to deal with this. I think that one of the reasons there's so much challenge with anxiety and depression is that, um, again, the system has to be geared towards addressing these internal mechanisms that are not properly anchored. And I would say, going back to what we were just discussing right now, as far as the jaw, what I would say is just test your jaw and see if there is a clicking when you open your jaw. You feel like there's a noise that's kind of happening, like a click. That might give you an indication that something's going on there. But just know that by simply trying to work by process of elimination to find out what's causing what, the jaw is the first thing that we would wanna look at. So, and then if that doesn't do it, then just working with eye exercises as well, and trying to basically work with jaw and eye exercises and compare the symptoms to see if they dissipate, and if Julie just feels better by doing this.
that's good. Okay. And you have a jaw body course, correct? That you offer on your site?
Yes, the jaw and body connection course will definitely give you the tools and different exercises and explain those all of those connections.
Okay. Perfect. That's great advice. All right. Another person, Ava, had said this hits close to home for me. So for about 7 years, she started experiencing intense tension headaches, led me down a long path, specialists, MRIs, natural remedies, eventually prescription sleep meds to manage her anxiety. I've since weaned off the medication, but in stressful seasons, I still feel the pull to go back. Could chronic tension like this be rooted in postural or neurological imbalances, even if the pain seems to come from stress or nowhere? And how would you approach long-term nervous system regulation for someone who's caught in that cycle of physical tension, emotional strain, meds?
Yeah, so 100% it could be caused by the nervous system, but one key word in that message is stress,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So if you think stress, you think jaw.
Yeah.
So it's a
Exactly.
defensive mechanism. The moment that we're stressed, we'll clench our teeth. It's a protective mechanism that the nervous system has put in place, in order to help us deal with that stressful situation. So, for me, again, it would be trying to identify the source of the stress,
Okay.
become aware of it, try to practice breathing or tongue posture. The meds, obviously, with the help of a healthcare professional, make sure if you can start weaning off of them. It sounds like she had already started, so maybe go in that direction and see if we can improve that. But maybe even doing just a postural assessment and seeing what's going on as far as posture, because when you regulate posture, what you're doing is you're sending the right feedback to the brain. So it's no longer in that fight and flight mode. Right? Because if you have to fight to stand up and fight gravity efficiently, you're overtaxing your system.
Yes. So is that a postural assessment that she can look for on your website?
Yeah, absolutely. Online, we can break this down together, and I actually identify what's causing what.
Gosh, okay, that's incredible. You can help so many people. Who can you not help?
Someone who's no longer alive.
Like, pretty much everybody you can. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Well,
So
if we're dealing with someone who has a nervous system, unless of course but even with Parkinson's disease, some of the results that I saw, even with stage 4 Parkinson's. So Diane was my first, and then my last was that really marked me was stage 4, and I thought to myself, there's no way that I'm going to be able to even help. And the results we got with stage 4 were quite impressive. So sometimes I just I think cancer could be a challenge to get the results sometimes, depending on how far the cancer is advanced. But I do believe that if we're dealing with a healthy individual and a nervous system, this can only improve. I mean, the worst thing that happens is that nothing happens.
true. And the least that they know. But I'm like you said, you've helped so many, so I'm sure it probably would help. Oh, okay, good. All right, so a couple rapid fire questions to wrap it up here. What is one thing people misunderstand about posture?
That you could fix it through training.
Mm, yeah, that makes sense.
It's controlled by the unconscious part of your brain, like breathing and blood pressure. So training will activate the brain, But think of all of the hours that you'll have to put into that. I mean, we're talking about 6 months of intense training. And again, training is good for the body. It's good for health. And while you're training and trying to realign your posture, you are creating micro lesions in the body that is creating inflammation. So the fastest way would be to fix your posture first and then train intensely for 6 months and get all the benefits from that, minus the inflammation.
Okay, perfect. Good recommendation. What is a book that you recommend again and again?
What is it called again by Tim Ferriss? The 4-minute or 2-minute work week? What was it?
4 hour
The
work.
4-hour work week.
Yeah.
Yes, love that book.
I know. It's even though it was written a long time ago, there's still definitely many things we can still implement today, for sure. What is favorite part of your daily routine?
Morning.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Well, I take my time to do my gratitude, my gratefulness, and we're lucky enough to be able to go dip in a cold pool because it's cold here most of the time.
Right. The little
So
cold pond.
yeah, it's just having my own time. Those that 25 minutes or 30 minutes to be able to just concentrate. I love the morning, and I'm very very grateful and try to be grateful for everything. Gratefulness, practicing gratefulness.
I love that. So this last question kind of ties into that then. Is there a motto or a phrase that helps keep you anchored and grounded?
I will not let my past determine my future.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I feel the tension build up, yeah, that's kind of the number one sentence that I repeat in my head.
That's so good. So, so good. Okay. So then if there is someone thinking, I need this, I need all of these things that she's talking about, where do they start? Where do they go to learn more about Posture Pro? All the things.
So our website, posturepro.co, our handle is Posture Pro, and you'll find us across all of the social platforms that are out there.
Okay. And they can look at the insoles. They're correct.
So therapeutic insoles to fix your posture. Functional activator to address your tongue posture. If you want to learn more about our courses, we have created a course pack which regroups 6 of our most popular courses, including Jaw and Body Connection, where you can save up to $600 or 35% if you sign up to the whole course pack. If not, we do have courses ranging from $97 to our Posture Pro method.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't do it and you just want to read about it, we've just launched Posture Pro Plus, which is basically a membership where you can just subscribe on Substack and get some of my daily tips with additional personal information, one-on-one information, and group chat online.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, you are a wealth of information, inspiration to so many. And yeah, so that's a goal of the newsletter for people to check out all of the courses that you have out there. And you were very kind and generous that you're offering a discount code on some of the courses and products. Is that correct?
We are, absolutely. I believe you'll put the link in the description.
We will. Yes. And it is the code LIFE, LIFE, for 15% off. So we'll make sure to link that down below. So that is very kind and generous of you to do that. Oh, man. So many helpful tips today. You were so helpful. Is there any other last things words of wisdom or anything you want to say to our audience?
Well, live your life pain-free. There is a way. There definitely is a way, and there is a solution. I think the worst for most people, or at least what they tell me, is you have the right to choose the best treatment possible for you, and hopefully you'll, we spread the message through this podcast. And thank you for the opportunity for spreading the knowledge and letting people know that there's a way.
There's a way. Oh my gosh. So powerful. I love that so much. And for all the work that you do in this world. Annette, thank you. And thank you to everybody for tuning in today for this episode of the Life Lounge. And if you loved today's conversation, make sure to head over to Join Life Network on Instagram. Let us know your favorite moment. Make sure to tag Annette and her team. Annette, can you let me know your Instagram handle again one more time?
Posture Pro.
Posture Pro. That's right. So making sure to check out any of the tools that she has out there as well, and as inside Life Network too, and that we can help you just to feel better, live better. And until next time, I'm Karie Johnson. Keep living fully alive.